look away if you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan. What's up, everybody? It's OhioGameTalks back with another video. I wanted to unfortunately cover these two games, and I wanted to talk about which one was worse. I wanted to talk about why I feel a certain one is worse. I'm going to tell you about what happened in each game and why it hurt so badly, because obviously both these games they've happened in the last decade, and they both caused some devastation among the fan base, along with some heartbreak. But let's get into it. So, talking about the first one against the Pittsburgh Steelers, obviously we all remember Jeremy Hill's fumble, which set up that infamous game-winning drive. We know the rest of the story. Bengals had a great defensive game, especially against that offense. They held them to 15 points, and even though Ben was out, they still held them in check for majority of the game. Game ended in the controversy, obviously, against with Pac-Man Jones and Vontaze Burfict, two dumb personal fouls. The Burfict one obviously was a personal foul. I just thought the Pac-Man one was a little bogus, just because Porter was on the field and he never got a flag. Coaches are not allowed to be on the field, and obviously it was against our most hated rival. Against there's been, and it felt a little one-sided officiating wise, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But that was kind of the game. And also let's not forget that was I think it was 25 years and counting at the time, the drought, and we would not make it back for the next 6 years before obviously going on to win 3 playoff games and go to the Super Bowl. But yeah, it was a heartbreaking loss. Especially, like, everybody thought the curse would end this day. And while we're over it now, in the moment, it was just devastating because everybody wanted the curse to end. And let's talk about the other game. All right, everybody remembers this, obviously. The 2022 Super Bowl versus the Los Angeles Rams, 2021 to 2022 season, I guess. But everybody knows the Bengals. They completed a comeback, almost, because they were down, I think, I don't even want to remember, but they were down, was it 14-3? Yeah, 14-3 in the Super Bowl, and they were obviously up 20-16. Sorry, 13-3, my bad, because they missed the extra point, I forgot. And then they were obviously up 20-16 in the fourth quarter. Cooper Kupp played like an absolute dog with a fourth down conversion and the game-winning touchdown, and Aaron Donald was just Aaron Donald in the second half. After getting a little bit, he got held a little bit in the first half, and that Bengals offensive lineman, absolutely putrid. 7 sacks. They gave up 9 against Tennessee in that same playoff run, 7 against the Rams in the Super Bowl. Unacceptable. Not going to win you games. And this is one other thing. I'm not going to harp too much on the controversial penalties because Logan Wilson, that was not a hold. But we did get that holding call, or that no face mask call on T. Higgins. But then again, Ramsey held in the end zone. So I'm not going to dive too much into it. I do think we were kind of handed a touchdown, but the Rams were handed many things too. So I'm not going to harp too much on the controversial penalties. But yeah, those were the two games, and they obviously hurt a lot. So here is the arguments for the 2015 wildcard game being worse, in my opinion. Obviously, the devastating penalties. Just at that point, it felt beyond football. You're losing, or you're winning 16-15, and just it was a disgrace to the NFL, and just like people who don't even watch football, I'm sure like they knew about like what the hell happened, and that just disgraced the entire organization at the time. And what really makes it hurt, I hate losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Losing to a hated rival just adds more salt in the wound. And we had the game won. We 9 out of 10 times you're gonna win. I think there was like a 97% chance the Bengals would win. But Jeremy Hill, that did not that dude did not secure the win for us. But yeah, anyway, obviously a big emotional impact on the fans and the players. You can see, unfortunately, that amazing Bengals fan lady that obviously was heartbroken, just like the rest of the fan base. And Pac-Man Jones, he was just super upset because we had the game won and it just slipped out of our hands. But I think that's why you have an argument, I think, for the 2015 wildcard game being worse than the Super Bowl. And obviously, the Super Bowl 56 being worse, it's obviously it's higher stakes. So the Super Bowl is like, like it's to become, world champions, and Bengals had a chance at the first Super Bowl, and it wasn't a blowout. It was a close game, and that just, again, it adds to the pain because we were right there, right there. And it's the biggest stage in American sports at this point, because I think the NFL has definitely overtaken the MLB as America's pastime, or even like around the country. And the Super Bowl is just highly recognized as, you have like a Super Bowl party and everything. It just, has, it is what it is. But yeah, we were right there, guys, right there, first ring. But I'll tell you, like, the biggest thing about this game was like, why did we not feed Mixon? Why did we even not have him out there on the last possession? That's the question. The play calling was a little bit questionable, to say the least. But what am I leaning towards, guys? Drum roll, please. I'm going with the 2015 wildcard game. That might be a shock to some of you, but I'm going to talk about why. The uncertainty of future success. Let's talk about a comparison of both. So the uncertainty was, we didn't know who was going to leave the roster. Maybe Marvin Jones was going to get, leave. Mohamed Sanu. So it was a big blow because, Marvin Jones obviously left for Detroit, I think, and then Mohamed Sanu went to Atlanta. And it was just like, that game was like, you didn't know what they were going to do at the time. And we had it, like, we had the game. We could have ended the drought and maybe kept some of these guys, but it was just like, we didn't know what was going to happen after. Like, there wasn't really much hope for the future. It was a sudden end to we started off 8-0 that year. We were the third seed. I mean, we could have been the second seed. We could have had an AFC Championship game at home if Andy Dalton doesn't get hurt. Because I really felt like we were the best team, like, all around. We had the best roster. Like, this roster was better than the 2022 or 2021 roster, because let's face it, the only difference, the upgrade we had, was at quarterback and maybe wide receiver. Maybe Jamar Chase can be better than AJ Green, but yeah, it was just a beyond football type of loss. And lastly, I just hate freaking losing to the Steelers. It's just like, they just get my blood boiling. So they gotta, that just takes it to a new level, and looking at the Super Bowl, like, we knew we'd like have another chance at a run. I mean, goddamn, like, the next following year, we almost made it back. If not for a stupid penalty at the end of the game, we might have had a chance to go down the field and drive and go for the win and get back to the Super Bowl. So it's just like, we knew we had a bright future. The Rams, I mean, I actually, like, don't hate the Rams at all. I hate the Steelers. I don't hate the Rams at all. And it was just like a football loss. They played a clean game. They weren't dirty at all, honestly. The Steelers, on the other hand, they were dirty, and we just came out on the flat end in both games. But I'd say one was more of a healthy loss, if that makes sense. But that's my thinking, guys. I'm going with the 2015 wildcard game over the 2021 to 2022 Super Bowl. Both obviously hurt, and if I had to change the result of one, obviously that's a different question. I'm just talking about what was worse in that time. And I'm going to go with the 2015 wildcard game, but it is very close for both. But that'll do it, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Which one was worse? 2015 wildcard game or the 2021 to 2022 Super Bowl? Comment your thoughts below. Thank you guys for watching. I did not want to cover each of these games, but it is what it is. But Ohio Game Talk signing off. Have a good one. Go Bengals.